Hey everybody, my name is Phil. I'm with WeighMyRack Climbing, and today we're here to showcase the Talaria. The Talaria is our official speed climbing shoe that's going to be dropping in the springtime of 2024. And this shoe is going to sit into our competition series. The CS badge you can see on top of the shoe is reminiscent of that on the Drone CS. And it'll also follow a similar color scheme between the HV model here and the LV model as well. So the Talaria will be offered in two different models or fits. High volumes for people who have wider feet, maybe a taller instep and a bigger heel. And the low volume is going to be for people with narrower feet, a smaller heel, and a lower instep. The shoe itself is going to be built onto the Remora last, so it's going to fit similarly to the Remora HV and the Remora LV respectively. But there are a few improvements that we made for speed climbers specifically. When we sat down with our athletes in Salt Lake City, we saw that almost every athlete had a very similar wear pattern on the top of the shoe, and they wanted something that can glide on the speed wall. So this is non-sticky rubber and extremely durable. It's a brand new rubber formula that we're using to cover this toe patch here. So even though the Talaria sits in our competition series line of shoes, we put science friction rubber on the sole of the shoe for more durability and less stickiness compared to the extreme friction rubber formula that we have. Because the science friction rubber formula is stiffer and more durable, there's going to be less deformation on top of a foothold when springing off of this shoe versus something like the Drone CS, which uses a softer, stickier rubber, but it'll deform a little bit more on top of a foothold. One aspect of the Talaria that we're really excited about is the built-in polycarbonate midsole. That's going to set it apart from that of the Remora that has no midsole. So this midsole that we put into the shoe is going to act almost as a spring for speed climbers to go up the wall even quicker. When designing the Talaria, one piece of feedback we received from our athletes was that they didn't want any resistance on top of the shoe. And that's why you'll notice that the Talaria, just like a Remora, is a pure slipper style shoe. The elastic bands are really going to lock your instep into place and secure the foot inside the shoe. The reason why we didn't want to add a Velcro strap or any laces on the shoe was that that would add resistance to the top of the foot, making it harder for the foot to be as malleable as it can in a pure slipper style shoe. When you're looking at the shoe from the side profile as well, you'll notice that it's a pretty flat neutral shoe, and that's by design. A neutral shoe allows you to come at the wall at a flatter, more neutral angle, versus the Drone CS, where it's a little bit more talon shaped, it's a little more downturned. And we learned that with speed climbing, you don't want this curvature in the shoe because you're gonna have to work that much harder to lift up your toe, get onto the foothold, and spring off. With the Talaria though, a shoe that's made specifically for speed climbers, we made it neutral so that you're coming to the wall at an appropriate angle and able to bounce off that foothold quicker and easier. So when you combine the flatter nature of the Talaria with the science friction rubber and the polycarbonate midsole designed to be a little more springy than our other midsoles, you're looking at a shoe that's designed through and through for speed climbers. So that's the Talaria. This shoe was developed with John Brosler, who is a 6-time national speed climbing champion. It's going to be available in springtime of 2024 at a price point of $119. And the reason why we place it at that price point is because of our ethos as a brand. WeighMyRack is always trying to make climbing more and more accessible to all climbers and to all demographics. And so we want to make sure that even though this is a specialty climbing shoe with new and innovative technology, we want to keep it as accessible as possible for anyone to try. So one cool thing that we found about the Talaria after we received the prototypes and tested them ourselves is we found that this might be a great shoe for route setters and also board climbers. The fact that the Talaria is a more durable shoe with a built-in midsole and a really durable toe cap here makes it really convenient for route setters to be forerunning in this and setting in this. And going over to board climbers, because the Remora has no midsole, you get foot fatigue pretty quickly. With the Talaria, now that you have a polycarbonate midsole built into the pure slipper style shoe, you're getting a really convenient shoe and a really comfortable shoe that gives you that much more power.